my chair.
So happy to be back.
So happy to see you, my darling. And just starting off on Amy's beautiful face and her cleansed skin using the Chantecaille Bio Lifting Cream, which is a really beautiful, rich moisturiser that's just going to make skin really plump and hydrated and ready for this gorgeous look that we're going to do. I can't wait. I'm going to go straight in on top of that moisturiser with the primer now. This is the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. It's oil-free, which is great if you're worried about it creating any little extra blemishes. Using things that are non-comedogenic is always better for your skin, I find. So this is a really, really beautiful one just to perfect the texture of the skin ready for foundation. Before I put foundation on, I'm just going to pop a tiny bit of eye cream on now. This is a Natura Bissé eye cream. They do two versions of this, a clear version and a version that's got a slight tint to it, which just helps to neutralize any darkness under the eyes. So this is going to be our base before we apply foundation and concealer. Going straight in now with the KVD Good Apple Foundation. This is...
I love that already.
I know. Look how flawless that makes skin. It's literally like instant flawless coverage. But what I love so much about this is a lot of full coverage foundations can look a little bit cakey if your skin's on the drier side, whereas this is beautiful and creamy, so you can really buff in to still get that kind of almost sheer looking dewy finish, but with flawless coverage in an instant. Using a little bit of the Rodial Banana, no, not banana, this is the Peach Lowlighter. This one is a little bit warmer, which makes it great for concealing any darkness under eyes. I'm just buffing that in now, and it's really light and creamy.
Okay, so I have both. What would you use the banana for?
So the banana I would use on all the high points of the face, the cheekbones, down the centre of the nose, anywhere that you want to kind of brighten and bring forward. And then the peach one is really great for under the eyes because of that extra bit of added warmth. Just going to set that now with a little bit of the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder, especially focusing in the centre of the face. I'm going to sculpt the skin now with a little bit of this beautiful Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess Bronzing Powder, starting just in the outer parts of the face, so under the cheekbones. I'm kind of using this as a cross between a bronzer and a contour, so using it to sculpt, but also on all of the kind of high points of the face where the sun would naturally hit to give it a little bit of a bronzy hue. Just using a little bit of the NARS Shadow Primer now. This is in the shade Light. Excuse Jessie Go.
I love it. My ovaries are like ping, ping.
Now I'm going straight in with a kohl liner. This is Costa Riche liner from MAC Cosmetics. It's a really beautiful, soft, warm brown kohl. What I'm doing with this is I'm just sketching kind of in this triangular shape along the outer part of the eye, and I'm going to do the same also in the inner part of the eye, leaving this kind of negative space in the center of the lid. And then we blend. That's the great thing about this pencil, is it's really easily blendable even after it's been sat on the eye for a little while. Just really small circular movements so that we're not dragging the product too much, and that's the way to get the most flawless blend. The palette I'm going to use today is this new one from MAC Cosmetics. This is called the Mary Jane palette. It's got really beautiful smoky tones in it. I'm going to start with this deep brown, and I'm just pressing this now along the lash line, and also a little bit in the outer corner of the eye. I feel like these warm brown tones are always your go-to shades, aren't they?
Definitely. You can't go wrong with a little bronzy.
And as you're out tonight, that's what make the most of the look.
Treat myself.
Just with the excess of what's on that brush, I'm taking a little bit in just the outer corner at the bottom of the eyes, and also bringing that shape slightly further out just to elongate the eyes. Now that that's on, I'm just taking a little bit of the same bronzer that we used on the skin on a fluffy brush, and I'm going to take that around the edges of the eye, and that is going to help really marry this eye look into all of the tones of the skin and just warm everything up. I actually love applying bronzer on top of shadow. Also, while we're on eyes, I'm going to take some of that bronzer just down the sides of the nose here to add a little bit of sculpting, just so that it's really cohesive with the eye look. Just going to define the lash line with a liquid liner now. This is the KVD Tattoo Liner. Really beautiful and black and easy to use, inky pen, this one. So I'm focusing mainly just on the outer part of the eye, but I'm going to bring that liner really thin and close to the lash line, all the way along the lashes. Just taking a little bit of eyeshadow, that same deep brown that I used to start with, just on kind of like a flat, thin brush, And I'm just pressing that over the top of the liquid liner, just because I want that liner to be soft and smoked out. So this look needs lots of lashes, and I'm going to start by curling Amy's lashes using the Laura Mercier lash colours. These are really fab. Does that feel okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Don't want to lose half your eyelid while we're doing this. Just giving these lashes a real curve, because Amy's got really long lashes, and I just want to be able to see them all. Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot.
Makes a difference. Now I'm going to pop some of my No Lash individuals on, just starting with the longest length in the outer corner of the eye, and then we're going to move to kind of medium length more in the inner part of the eye, so that they kind of bespoke shape to suit Amy's eye shape and also the look that we're going to create. I'm going to do them a little bit more kind of densely packed in the outer corners too, because I don't want to cover the light in that center of the lid with lashes. So obviously, Amy, you have a beautiful little boy too. Andreas, he is beyond gorgeous.
I'm right back at you. How lucky are we?
I know.
That boys.
Two #blessed. What does he think when you make makeup? Does he notice?
And he's like, Mummy, where are you off to?
Suspicious.
Yeah.
Now that those lashes are on, I'm going to put tons of mascara on top. This is the KVD Go Big or Go Home mascara, just to add loads and loads of volume and sexiness to these lashes. Before we do brows, I'm just going to go back onto finishing the skin. I'm going to use this Nude Sticks cream blush. I've applied a little bit more bronzer, as you can possibly see. Just when you pop eye makeup on, I always find like it's a good time to then judge whether you need a bit more colour in the skin, and I felt that we did. So put more bronzer under cheekbones, and now just putting some blush on the apples of the cheeks. I'm going to use this really beautiful highlighter from Bobbi Brown. This is in the shade Pink Glow. It's got a really, really soft kind of champagne pink shimmeriness to this. Super, super pretty at the top of cheekbones. But another thing I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to take a tiny bit, just with a fingertip, because it allows you to get really nice, intense pigment payoff. I'm just going to press a little bit of that just in the center of the lid there. Just going to pop a little bit of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze on now. This is a really, really firm hold brow product. So it's just going to keep Amy's brows all facing upwards. And then we're just going to fill in any little gaps to make them really full and lush. To fill in the brows, I'm using some of the KVD Longwear Brow Pomade in the shade Light Brown. Just using a little angle brush to kind of draw in tiny little replica hair-like strokes, so that we can make these brows look full, but also still keep them natural.
Great, smell.
For lips, I'm using this KKW lip liner in this shade Suede Rose. Really kind of pretty, soft, rosy tone. And I'm just using it to go very, very slightly over Amy's natural lip line, just at the top. I'm going to keep the bottom. Lipstick I'm using is this shade from Natasha Denona. The shade is called Beatrice, and it's a really beautiful kind of semi-matte pinky nude. I think that's going to work really well with that lip liner colour. Just add a little bit of lightness to the centre of the lips. Just as a little finishing touch, I'm going to take a tiny bit of that highlight on a small brush, and if you look up for me, just popping that in the centre underneath the eye, and that's going to really emphasise this kind of halo effect.
Hi, thank you so much for passing by. I hope I got your interests by clicking subscribe to this channel.